thinking 2025 is going to be your year. Fantastic.
If so.
But let me ask you something. Could the very drive that got you this far be the thing that trips you up? That
Hmm.
burning ambition, that unwavering confidence, could they be morphing into something, well, less helpful?
Yeah, it happens.
We're talking about that sneaky inner voice, the one that craves a validation and hates being wrong. Your ego.
Ah, the ego.
And in a world that throws instant likes and curated success stories at us constantly, especially heading into the rapid changes of 2025, understanding and managing that ego isn't just good advice, it's like your secret weapon.
Yeah, and what's really interesting to consider is how the very traits that fuel our initial climb, they can become liabilities, can't they, as we navigate more complex terrain?
How so?
Well, that assertive confidence that helped you land your first big project,
Hmm.
it might now make you resistant to crucial feedback,
Yeah.
and that relentless drive. It could
Yeah.
blind you to the needs of your team or just burn you out.
Exactly. So you've probably heard of Ryan Holiday's Ego is the Enemy. Great book.
Definitely. Foundational.
But we're not here for a dusty book report. Think of this as your personalized 2025 ego detox.
Okay, I like that. A detox.
We're extracting the core, actionable strategies from Holiday's work and figuring out how you can apply them right now to thrive in the unique environment we're facing.
Which is changing so fast.
Right. Forget the general advice. We're laser focused on what works for you in the coming year.
And the stakes are higher than ever, aren't they? I mean, we're swimming in this sea of information.
Totally.
AI is changing the game daily. Everyone's projecting their highlight reel online.
Constant comparison.
Exactly. In this hyper-competitive landscape, an unchecked ego, that inflated sense of self-importance, it can blind you to opportunities,
Yeah.
alienate potential allies, and ultimately lead you down the wrong path. It really can.
Whereas of mastering it.
Mastering it, on the other hand, that can bring clarity, resilience, and, well, a much more sustainable kind of success.
Yeah.
Real success.
Okay, let's dive into our first key takeaway then. Something Holiday calls the canvas strategy.
The canvas strategy. Good one.
Picture those old apprentices, not trying to steal the master's spotlight,
Right.
but diligently preparing the canvas. The core idea here is to focus on making others look good.
It sounds almost selfless.
It does. Forget about your own need for immediate recognition, especially when you're starting something new or, trying to build momentum. How can you be the support system, the behind-the-scenes enabler?
And what's kind of counterintuitive, especially in our self-promotion obsessed culture,
Totally.
is that by prioritizing the success of others, you're actually building a powerful foundation for yourself.
How does that work?
Well, it's about creating this reservoir of goodwill, right?
Hmm.
And demonstrating your value in tangible, often uncredited ways. Think of it like uh, planting seeds that will eventually bear fruit for you too.
And this feels incredibly relevant for 2025, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
With so many of us collaborating remotely or in hybrid setups, proactively helping colleagues, anticipating your boss's needs, that becomes a superpower.
It really does.
AI might automate tasks, sure, but that human element of genuine support, that strategic clearing of obstacles for others, that's irreplaceable.
You can't automate goodwill.
Exactly. It's like choosing long-term impact over short-term applause. So here's a question for you, the listener, right now. Who around you could you intentionally lift up? What small action could you take this week to make their work easier or help them shine?
That's a crucial point. It's not just about passively waiting for an opportunity to help.
Yeah.
It's about actively seeking those opportunities. Holiday suggests really observing the people around you, your team members, your clients, your mentors. Yeah. What are their pain points? Where could your skills or insights make a difference? It's about shifting your focus outward, away from just me, me, me.
Right. And then the crucial follow through.
Yeah.
When you do contribute and things go well,
Mm.
make sure the credit goes where it's due.
Oh, that's hard sometimes.
It is. Resist that tiny ego gremlin whispering that you deserve a pat on the back. Holiday argues that the real payoff is the access you gain, the learning you absorb, and those strong reciprocal relationships you cultivate.
Like building social capital.
Totally. Imagine you see a way to streamline a process that's been bogging down your team.
Okay.
You take the initiative, you fix it, and when the project runs smoothly, you publicly acknowledge a teammate's crucial input. That's the Canvas strategy in action for 2025.
And what's compelling is the subtle influence you build through this approach. It's a form of leadership that doesn't rely on titles or, big pronouncements.
Right. No fanfare needed.
No, it's about demonstrating your competence and your collaborative spirit through consistent, selfless action. Quiet competence.
All right, so let's pivot. Second crucial strategy for 2025.
Yeah.
Silence the hype machine. Focus on the work.
Oh, yeah, the hype.
Holiday shares this great anecdote about the painter Degas, lamenting that he had brilliant ideas but couldn't write poetry.
Oh.
And the poet Mallarmé simply stating, poems are made with words, not ideas.
Ooh, direct.
The core punchline. Ideas are cheap. Execution is everything. It's about the relentless grind of actually doing the work, not just talking about it.
This really hits home in an era of constant online broadcasting, doesn't it?
It really does.
While sharing your journey can have its place, there's a real danger in mistaking the performance of progress for actual progress.
Ah, good distinction.
The energy you pour into crafting that perfect LinkedIn update about your amazing new project
We've all seen them.
might be better spent actually, working on the amazing new project.
Couldn't agree more. And in 2025, with the siren call of social media and maybe the temptation to use AI as a shortcut to avoid deep, focused work,
That's a real risk.
that disciplined commitment to execution is becoming a rare and highly valuable commodity. So let's get practical. How can you, listening right now, silence your own hype machine and double down on the real work?
Well, Holiday suggests a few key shifts. First, cultivate ruthless self-awareness about where your time and energy are actually going.
Let me be honest.
Yeah. Is that endless scrolling through industry news truly research? Or is it maybe a form of procrastination fueled by the fear of getting started?
Ouch. Called out.
Be honest with yourself about the difference between preparation and avoidance. Then, actively create pockets of deep work.
Like time blocking.
Exactly. Schedule dedicated, uninterrupted blocks of time for focused execution. Put your phone on airplane mode. Resist the urge to seek external validation until you have something substantial to show.
That idea of an internal scorecard that Holiday talks about really resonates here too, I think.
Yes. Explain that.
It's about measuring yourself against your own standards of effort and quality, not the fleeting metrics of likes and retweets.
Right. Intrinsic motivation.
Yeah, that intrinsic satisfaction of a job well done. That quiet confidence that comes from knowing you put in the work that's your real armor against the noise of 2025.
Mm.
What personal metrics could you define for yourself this week that focus purely on your effort and output, regardless of external feedback?
That's a great exercise. And what's powerful about this long-term focus on the work is that it builds a bedrock of competence and resilience. Your achievements become grounded in actual skill and effort,
Real substance.
not in fleeting trends or the opinions of others. It's a much more sustainable path to success, really.
Okay, third vital element for navigating 2025.
Mm.
Embracing perpetual studenthood in the age of AI and disruption.
Always be learning. The classic.
But more important than ever, right? The core message here is simple.
Mm.
Never stop learning. Holiday argues that ego breeds the illusion of mastery,
Mm-hmm.
the dangerous belief that we've arrived and know enough. But in a world that's constantly shifting, that's the fastest route to irrelevance.
Oh, absolutely.
True knowledge cultivates humility, and humility fuels continuous learning.
And this couldn't be more critical in the current environment. I mean, the speed of change, particularly with the rapid evolution of AI.
It's dizzying.
It's unlike anything we've seen before. Entire industries are being reinvented. What's cutting edge today might be obsolete tomorrow.
Seriously.
So in this context, clinging to the idea that you have all the answers is it's a recipe for being left behind.
Absolutely. So how do we cultivate this mindset of perpetual learning, especially when we're already feeling, maybe a bit overwhelmed by the pace of change?
It's tough, but Holiday offers some practical strategies. First, make learning a non-negotiable part of your routine.
Schedule it.
Yeah, schedule time each week, even if it's just 30 minutes a day, for focused learning, reading industry articles, taking online courses, experimenting with new technologies.
Even the scary ones.
Especially the scary ones, even those that seem a bit intimidating, like the latest AI tools. It's also vital to actively seek out diverse perspectives and, crucially, critical feedback.
Ask for criticism.
It's hard, but necessary. Talk to mentors, peers, even those who might disagree with you. Ask specific questions like, what am I missing here? Or how could I approach this differently? Don't just seek validation.
That willingness to challenge your own assumptions feels so key right now.
Totally.
Regularly question your understanding of your field, your skills, your strategies. Are they still valid in the face of rapid technological advancement?
It's like a constant reality check.
Being open to unlearning old habits and embracing new knowledge that Intellectual Humility Holiday talks about seems like the essential skill for navigating the uncertainties of 2025.
Yeah.
Think about how quickly AI image generation went from a novelty to a serious tool.
Mm.
Were you curious enough to explore it, or did you kind of dismiss it because it wasn't part of your existing skill set?
That's a great litmus test. That proactive curiosity and the willingness to step outside your comfort zone to learn,
Yeah.
they're no longer optional. They're essential for staying ahead in a rapidly evolving landscape.
Okay, now let's tackle the tricky terrain of managing success. Our fourth action plan.
Ah, success. The other side of the coin.
Right. Holiday points out that success is often when ego throws its biggest party.
Huh. Yeah, it loves success.
We start to feel entitled, we become overly protective of our turf, and we can even become like paranoid about losing what we've gained. He cites examples of high achievers whose unchecked egos ultimately led to their downfall.
And this is a really important inflection point. In 2025, the trappings of success increased visibility, maybe a larger team, greater financial rewards. They can amplify those ego driven tendencies.
Become worse.
Yeah. The risk of getting caught in an echo chamber, surrounded by people who only tell you what you want to hear, it becomes much higher.
It's like ego whispers that you deserve all the accolades, that you need to control every single detail,
Total control.
and that everyone is secretly envious or trying to undermine you, that paranoia. So, how do we actively fight against these corrosive effects of success in 2025?
Holiday emphasizes the practice of active humility. Regularly remind yourself of the many factors that contributed to your success: the support of others, a bit of good luck, the timing of opportunities.
Right, it wasn't just you.
Exactly. Keeping a gratitude journal, as he suggests, can be a surprisingly effective way to counter feelings of entitlement.
Simple but effective.
And staying connected to the fundamentals of your work, talking to your customers, understanding the day to day challenges of your team, that helps keep you grounded in reality.
Don't lose touch.
And when it comes to control, learn to delegate and truly trust the people you've empowered. Trying to micromanage in a fast paced environment like 2025 is it's a recipe for burnout, both for you and your team.
And cultivating a circle of trusted advisors who will actually give you honest, even critical feedback becomes paramount, right?
Absolutely crucial. People who aren't afraid to tell you the truth.
Regularly checking your own perspective, asking yourself if your decisions are being driven by sound judgment or by the need to protect your ego. Maybe think about leaders you admire who have maintained a sense of humility despite significant success. What are their key characteristics? How do they stay grounded?
That's a good reflection exercise. The key insight here is that sustained success isn't a destination, it's an ongoing practice of self awareness and humility, especially after you've achieved significant
It
milestones.
doesn't stop.
No, it's about maintaining the same hunger for learning and the same collaborative spirit that likely contributed to your initial achievements. Don't let success kill those things.
Okay, finally, let's talk about reframing failure, turning setbacks into fuel.
The inevitable failure.
It happens to everyone. Holiday introduces this powerful idea of alive time versus dead time, referencing figures like Malcolm X, who used periods of confinement for intense self-improvement.
Powerful concept.
His core argument is that failure is inevitable, but our response to it, whether we succumb to resentment and inaction or embrace it as an opportunity for growth, it's a conscious choice.
And this is particularly relevant for navigating the uncertainties of 2025. With rapid technological shifts and evolving market dynamics, setbacks are almost guaranteed.
Yeah, expect them.
The critical difference lies in how you interpret those setbacks. Does your ego lead you to deflect blame, make excuses, or wallow in self pity? That's dead time.
Right.
Or do you approach failure with a growth mindset, seeking the lessons embedded within the experience? That's a lifetime.
Exactly. So when things inevitably don't go according to plan in 2025, how can we choose alive time over dead time?
Holiday suggests a deliberate process of objective post-mortem analysis. Resist the ego's urge to find a scapegoat.
Pointing fingers.
Yeah, avoid that. Instead, focus on a dispassionate examination of what went wrong. What were the systemic issues? What skills or knowledge were lacking? What assumptions proved to be incorrect?
Treat it like data.
Precisely. Reframe the failure not as a personal indictment, but as valuable data from the real world. That failed marketing campaign just gave you crucial insights into what doesn't resonate with your 2025 target audience.
Useful information.
That rejected funding proposal highlighted a weakness in your strategy. Then, consciously choose a live time. Use that unexpected pause to learn a new skill, revisit your long-term goals, network with intention, adjust your approach based on the hard-won lessons.
Turn that downtime into productive time.
Yes. Turn that downtime into an investment in your future self.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into your 2025 battle plan against ego, remember this. Ego is the enemy isn't about stifling your ambition.
No, not at all.
It's about channeling it intelligently. The most significant hurdles you'll face in 2025 won't be external obstacles. They'll be the internal battles with your own ego.
That's the core message.
It's about consistently choosing purpose over fleeting passion, genuine humility over empty bravado, the continuous pursuit of learning over the illusion of mastery, and the resilience to bounce back from setbacks over the trap of resentment.
Connecting this to the bigger picture of 2025, mastering these internal dynamics is really the key to not just surviving, but truly flourishing in a complex and rapidly changing world.
Thriving, not just surviving.
Exactly. It's about building something meaningful and lasting, grounded in genuine competence and contribution, rather than being tossed around by the whims of ego and fleeting external validation.
So as you navigate the rest of 2025, I want you, the listener, to really think about your own internal landscape. Where might your ego be subtly undermining your progress?
Final thought.
Which of these areas, choosing purpose, practicing humility, prioritizing learning, cultivating resilience, which one could yield the biggest breakthroughs if you commit to consistent self-awareness and conscious ego management?
It's an ongoing process.
It really is. We sincerely hope this deep dive has provided you with some concrete, actionable insights to make 2025 your most impactful year yet.